Hare Krishna. Jai Vishnupada Prabhu, Parivraja Acharya, Shrutra, Shrutra, Shrutra. This divine grace and Bhakti Devotee Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Amacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna ji. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gop Premanande. Just a request that we also manage dispensing. However good that is possible. So if the ladies could move ahead. Hare Krishna. You guys go straight up to the front.
Yeah, Bhakti is down from this side. Prabhuji is going from that side.
सब लोग बहुत देर बैठ गए आपको Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So what shall we do now? Any suggestions? Wait for everyone to sit down. Then, who's the staffer? Myself? Surrender unto me only, but I already gave that in the morning because I thought that it's for initiation, but I thought initiation. Anyway, everyone's here. The idea is to attract people. Whoever's come has come. So I can fit in anything I like. All right, shall I do that? Shall I start? Arjuna. Congress. A sweet Hindi, but for me it's not the invitation. Actually, I prefer English to Hindi in the respect that I can express myself more. What I want to say. But anyway, I should do. What should be the basis of this decision? The base of the decision is how best we can communicate what I have to communicate here to you and also to others, because it will go out on the internet afterwards. Actually, generally speaking, as far as hits are concerned, you all know what a hit is, right? What's it called? What is it called? YouTube? Views. Okay. You generally get more for Hindi than English. Anyway, I don't care. Anyway, Hindi and English itself. Nowadays all mixed up. आपका मोबाइल स्विच ऑफ करो हाँ वो भी कहने से अपना मोबाइल स्विच ऑफ कर दो प्लीज हाँ प्लीज शुद्ध हिंदी में प्लीज जिसको हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन की जरूरत है माताजी any one of the Mataji who can translate English to Hindi? Many. So Priya Mataji is there. Prabhu, you can come this side if you want Hindi translation. Narottam Prabhu, ये side आ जाइए. फिर उधर ही रहिए. Mataji, आपको हिंदी translation. Okay, he's taking charge. So Priya Mataji, thank you. And जिनको अंग्रेजी well who want the Hindi translation ये side आ जाइए. So that's the conclusion. I'll speak in English. Is that okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya
Dhananjana Shalaka Chakshuni Nidhamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shrishtham Dhanam Nahi Shachi Putram Atraswarupa Rupam Tasyavaram Rupam Bhatarim Goshtavakim Radha Kundam Girivaraho Radhika Sham Prapto Yasya Patita Kripaya Shri Guru Tamnatasya Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Atah Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sarvadam Sarvadam Sajivam Sarvadam Sarvadam Shri Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Please move a little in a bit because it seems people are still coming in. Social distancing here means at least 3 centimeters. No, not even that, 3 millimeters. Yeah, it seems that still more people are coming, so we should leave some space there. Sorry, don't want to put you into any discomfort unnecessarily. There is plenty of space here, actually, if you want to come sit here, you're squashed in. Sit properly. You don't have enough space? Come and sit here.
Maharaja, I'm comfortable this way only because of my problem.
Oh, you have a back problem.
Yeah.
It's very common now. I had a severe back problem about 2 years ago. Yeah, you can come. Normally, it's not done, but as there's plenty of space here, and there's not plenty of space there. The aim is not to be comfortable per se, because if you want to be comfortable, then sitting on the floor on a hard floor is not the most comfortable thing, but there's no need to be unnecessarily uncomfortable. Actually, that is there in spiritual culture, accepting discomfort voluntarily. That word is there, tapasya. Voluntarily accepting discomfort for the sake of spiritual realization. And it's not only in Vedic culture. It's very strongly in Christian culture, but not nowadays. You won't see much nowadays, but previously there were many. Actually, there was one group, this is going way back, they were called the Desert Fathers. They came in Africa. There were many Christians all over North Africa. Later that Islamic conversion came. But they would live very austere lives. They would just live on their own and just living on water and whatever they can get in the desert. And they're just praying and meditate all day, every day, for their whole life. And monks in medieval Europe, they would live very austere lives in their monastery. 40 days before Easter, Lent, there's a period called Lent. Something like Ramadan, in which there's fasting. You know about this too? How do you know? They do. Really? I don't think anyone in England does, as far as I know. We didn't do. Maybe my mother didn't know, but they actually follow. I'm really surprised. But the idea is that they're accepting some austerity for the sake of pleasing God or coming closer to God. That idea is there. Voluntary acceptance of difficulty for the sake of spiritual realization. And that is still going on. Just Ramadan is finished. It's very difficult to follow, especially if it comes in this season. But literally millions of people follow that. Of course, what happens between, iftar and roza, and maybe more meat is eaten during Ramadan than the rest of the year. But the daytime fasting is very difficult, no doubt. And rising early, supposed to. Actually, that's there in every religious culture. Christian culture, you're supposed to rise early. Shortly before I was fortunate enough to be allowed to join this movement, I was living for some time in a Christian monastery in Ireland, in which the monks, their prayers every morning start at 3 o'clock in the morning. They were vegetarians. That tradition is going on for hundreds of years. And then in Islam, you're supposed to rise early also. This, I remember hearing sometimes in Bangladesh in the village, early morning, you hear over the microphone, Uto, Uto, Gum teke namaz bhalo. Gum means sleeping. Better than sleeping is saying prayers. They're very serious about what they're doing. Sleeping is comfortable. Getting up early in the morning, not so comfortable, especially in the winter. The air is cold. Of course, here, everything is air conditioned, so it's the same temperature all year round, indoors. You may not even feel much difference. The tremendous heat is there outside, but you don't know about it because you're indoors all day, and it's, what do you set it at? 25, something like that? 25 Celsius. It's comfortable. Everything is arranged for comfort. But for spiritual advancement, voluntarily accepting discomfort. That doesn't sound very pleasing, especially in the way that we're raised in the modern age. We make so much arrangement for being comfortable. Dubai is much better than India or Nepal or Bangladesh. I think that probably covers all the countries. Anyone from any other country? Yeah, that covers it. India, Nepal, Bangladesh. You're all of you here are from one of those three countries. So in general, life here is more comfortable, is it not? Some of you hardly know it because you hardly lived in India. You're raised here. But definitely life is more comfortable. This is just in some ordinary hall. In India, this would be pretty high class, right? Roads which are smooth. There in India, just about for the last few years. Lights everywhere. Now that's coming in India also. Lighting on the roads. Otherwise, when I first came to Delhi in the mid-70s, the capital, in the roads, they didn't have lights. And the roads means there's something which potholes. It's very uncomfortable to travel in a car. The cars were made in such a way that they could survive the roads and the drivers. Uncomfortable existence. And actually people in general, they were accustomed to it. Nowadays it's different. Nowadays in India, so many people, they find it difficult to live in the summer without a fan. They become disturbed if there's no electric fan. Otherwise, when people were living without electric fans, there was no electricity, so there's no use in having a fan anyway. Even if you had a fan, it wouldn't help much without electricity. Or you'd see in some places they have the electric light bulb is hanging down, and for about 2 hours in the evening, electricity would come, but it's not enough to light it any more than a candle. So it's not much help anyway. And people lived. And naturally, in such a situation, they didn't have, well, there wasn't any internet. Now you can't imagine living without it. But there was no such thing. Life wasn't very comfortable. Now there are so many arrangements for comfort. Practically, so many things we do, so many decisions we make, how we can be comfortable. Physically comfortable, mentally comfortable. That's why we may tolerate someone who is not very nice, but we think, well, if I get in a fight with them, it's too much trouble. So we just, all right, let it go. Not that we have a great quality of tolerance, but just, why should I get in it? Why should I disturb my mind? We don't even think so much, but all the time we're making adjustments, how it can be mentally comfortable. And even my feet move forward, not so comfortable. Just see. I'm speaking the big Swami about how we shouldn't be so comfortable. And now the seat has come forward, so it's not so comfortable. All right, I'll just have to live with it. Discomfort. There's so many inventions are made. Just I saw some advertisement. As you see, you can't help seeing. We're always bombarded by advertisements. I can't remember whether it was in Bombay Airport or Dubai Airport or somewhere. They're advertising for some electric fan, standing fan. What's that called? Standing fan. Is that right? Yeah. And it says super quiet, with the idea that it's a better fan than others because others make more noise. Super quiet, but that means there's some noise, because you wouldn't say, if it was, it didn't say silent, but the idea is that less noise. You should buy this fan so that you can be relieved of the distress of hearing the sound of a fan. And of course, you have to give us money to buy the fan. And for that money, you're going to have to do some work, which you don't like to do. But you're doing the work which you don't like, so that you can get things which you do like. But you're working so hard, you don't have time to come home to your fancy home to enjoy all those things. And when you do come, you're so damn tired, you just fall asleep anyway. And then when you're asleep, you don't know whether there's a super quiet fan or a not so quiet fan. You're just asleep. But anyway, Dubai is more comfortable, is it not? Overall, you have to admit. It must be hard for you when you go to India. And when you go to India or Bangladesh or Nepal, you are, let's put it this way, mostly you're more money having come from here. So you don't go in those local trains in Bombay. And do you? No, I don't think so. If you have to travel in Bombay, then you'll take a taxi probably. So you don't even get the worst of it. But still you're feeling, such a hassle. Let me get back to Dubai as soon as possible, because it's too uncomfortable there. Of course, it's not that in Dubai everything's super, is it? Wherever we go, there's mental discomfort. What do you do about that? Well, one thing you can do is join a satsang. And then there are different swamis and yogis and gurus and ammas and appas and dadas and didis and so on, who are competing to make you feel good by coming in the present. You feel very good, very nice, relief. I just feel so good being in the presence of this saintly person. But the saintly person, his duty is to tell you, don't try to be comfortable in a place which is designed for discomfort. It is a great mistake to want to be happy in this material world. The example is given, this material world, it is a place for sinful people. Just like a prison, that's the example, prison. So prison is meant for punishment. There may be different grades of prisoners. Someone is being beaten with an iron rod. Someone is being beaten with a silver rod. Someone is being beaten with a golden rod. So the one who's beaten with a golden rod may think, I'm more high class than the one being beaten with a silver rod. And the silver rod wala is thinking, I'm more high class. And when I get more, my ambition is to be beaten with a golden rod, not an iron rod. It's iron rod, yeah. But it's the same beating. It's not meant to be a place of happiness. Who tells you, we have all these gurus, they tell you how you can be happy by adjusting your mind, how you can be happy in this world. They're all cheaters. The guru should tell you immediately that you cannot be happy in this material world. Not everyone likes to hear such things. People like to go to a guru who tells them that. Well, when Srila Prabhupada was here, there was one popular guru from India who used to sell a mantra for only $35, which was considerably more than nowadays. For only $35, he would give you a mantra, and you have to chant your mantra. And that's supposed to make you feel relaxed and happy and free you from tension and all that kind of thing. Srila Prabhupada is very critical of him. Why is he cheating people? We see Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita. How does he open his talk to Arjuna? He deeply insults him. What is the biggest? You have a big, strong man, famous for fighting. What's the biggest insult? You can call him a eunuch. And that's exactly what Krishna did to Arjuna. Klaibyam. How have you become like a eunuch? And especially it was really piercing to Arjuna because he had just been living as a eunuch for 1 year. You all know this word eunuch? Naipungsak. He'd just been living. What could be more humiliating for Arjuna than to take that role? Practically, he brought it on himself. By his good character, he had to become a eunuch because he refused to accede to the request of Urvashi in the heavenly planets, seeing her as his mother. So he had to live. And then Krishna, Arjuna is being very good, very philosophical, very compassionate. And Krishna was very harsh with him. Arjuna, you can imagine, now he has to fight with Bhishma and Drona, Pramukhata, and people he loved. That was very difficult for Arjuna. He killed so many demons here, there, and everywhere. But to fight with the people he loved, very, very difficult. But Krishna he just said, anyway, they're all going to die. Datasan, agutasan, nanu shocham vipanditaha. They're all going to die. Everyone's going to die. Why are you lamenting? As if you're a big learned scholar. Krishna was very harsh. Krishna didn't make Arjuna feel comfortable. Physically, he was going into an uncomfortable situation. We hear about the fighting, Mahabharata, Ramayana. It's good to hear. We like to hear it. And in the non-religious world, there are so many war stories and war movies. They're exciting. You can watch the news from Ukraine. It may seem to us like some kind of entertainment, but for the people who are there, it's not entertainment. For us, we look at it and it's interesting. No, some more people got killed. For us, it's just like we see the war movies and we see the actual fighting in Ukraine, and for us, it just seems the same. But actually, people are getting killed. It's not fun. So that scene in Kurukshetra is not fun. Killing, it's not pleasant. It's an unpleasant task, but Arjuna had to do that for protecting others. It was a great duty, but Krishna did not accept. Arjuna, he was famous as a great fighter, and he was famous as the most dharmic, righteous person. Yudhishthira and Arjuna. These two especially. Actually, Bhima was also, but he's sometimes misunderstood. Don't ever try to tell any Madhva Sampradaya person that Bhima is any less dharmic than Yudhishthira or Arjuna. It's not true, although it may appear like that, especially the way he's depicted in all these Mahabharata TV serials and movies and this and that. But anyway, Arjuna was most righteous. He was concerned. He was a fighter, but he was concerned with the good of others. That's a kshatriya. Krishna chastised him severely. And then the whole Bhagavad Gita goes on how Krishna is telling Arjuna that Dukhalayam Shashvatam. This whole world is full of misery, and everything here is temporary. Actually, Arjuna knew these things. Arjuna, he was, apart from being a great fighter and a great moral person, he was also learned. Otherwise, how could Krishna speak Bhagavad Gita to him? All these words. How could Arjuna understand even what Krishna was? Arjuna asked questions, King Dat Brahma Kim Adhyatmam. Even to ask those questions, of course, Krishna just said those words, but even to ask such questions, you have to have some background. Just like if you're not a specialist, if you're not a doctor, for instance, and you hear two doctors talking about some case, they'll be saying technical words, or they may be two scientists who talk. You don't understand what they're saying. It's technical. Arjuna, he knew this stuff. Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita to him because Arjuna already had a lot of training in all of this. He was born among rishis. He lived with rishis in his childhood. And then the Varnavas, the time spent in the forest, that was also at Yudhishthira's behest. They would spend a lot of their time listening to the brahmanas and rishis, explaining to them all these points from Puranas and Shastras. You need a chair, please. Can I arrange a chair? Another chair. I'm saying about how this material world is not comfortable, but there's no need for extra discomfort, especially older people. We don't want them to stand if they're feeling the discomfort from the body. But Krishna, he really hammered home the point in Bhagavad Gita that this material world, it's not a place for enjoyment. Please, everyone, put off your phone so we don't get any more ringings. Krishna, he wasn't the kind of guru who made Arjuna feel good. Feel good guru, make you feel good. He deliberately spoke in a way that Arjuna would feel bad, but he trusted Arjuna. I'm speaking this to you because you're my devotee and my friend. And he trusted Arjuna, that they're close enough, their relationship is so close that Krishna can chastise him. And Arjuna will, even it was not easy for Arjuna, but he accepted that Krishna has my best interest at heart. Arjuna sometimes used to joke with Krishna also. He apologized for that in Bhagavad Gita. Hey, Yadava. Nah, you're just a Yadava. What do you know? That is explained in the Acharya's commentary. We are Kauravas. You're just Yadavas. So it was in joking, but it was a little poking also. Those who are speaking for the benefit of others, they should not primarily be concerned with their immediate comfort, but how they can understand what is for their ultimate good. Those words are there in Kathopanishad. Praya and Shreya. Praya means that which is priya, that which we like, we can get very easily. And Shreya means that which is for our ultimate benefit. Simple example, the child wants to play all day. He feels very happy doing so, but he's forced to go to school. He doesn't like to go to school. But for his ultimate benefit, long-term benefit, he has to go to school. What he wants to do is not for his ultimate benefit. What he needs to do is not what he wants to do. But he should do that for his ultimate benefit, long-term benefit. Therefore, tapasya, voluntarily accepting difficulties for the sake of long-term benefit, spiritual advancement. Nayang deho deha bhajang vriloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujang tapo divyam puchadayena satram shudyat yatsvad brahma sokyam vriloke. Maybe you've heard the talk in which Srila Prabhupada was emphasizing this term, relocate. That humans, they can consider such points. In the animal society, there's no possibility to even discuss or imagine such things. The animals are enjoying life. How are they enjoying? Eating stool, up to the pigs, they like to eat what you ate yesterday, they'll take it, processed, just suitable for their taste. Hot, fresh, and nourishing, very nourishing for the pig. They like to eat it. The worm in the stool, if you remove the worm from the stool, the worm will go back again. I have experience. I was a worm in stool. We must have all been. We go through 8,400,000 species of life. How many times have I been a worm in stool? I don't know. It's uncountable. But Rishabdev says, don't be a worm in stool. Now you've got a human life. Now we should have a higher goal in life. It's not suitable for those who've got the human life to have the same kind of aspiration as the pigs and dogs and worms, which is how to live happily in this world. Of course, the pigs and the dogs and the worms, they don't even think of such things. They don't have the kind of intelligence to even begin to think of such things. That comes only in the human form of life. And if we don't take advantage of the opportunity of human life, then again, mrityu samsara vartmani. Then again, we have to go back to that. So, Rishabdev, he recommends, tapo divyam, my dear sons, you should undertake those kind of austerities which will lead us to, why should you do? Why should you do? Then you'll get Brahma Sukham Tvanantam, unlimited, eternal, spiritual bliss. That is possible by deliberately denying our immediate comforts and deliberately accepting discomforts for the sake of spiritual realization. Tapo divyam. Otherwise, we can accept material discomforts for the sake of material progress. We can study hard so we can pass our exam, so we can get a better job to earn more money, so we can buy a super quiet standing fan in every room, or just buy an air conditioner. And you don't bother with super quiet standing fan. But it should be a very quiet air conditioner. Yes. Spend some more money, work. So by working hard, studying, then we can get the opportunity to get a high-paying job in which we work hard. And then we can have a nice air conditioner in our room, in our home, which we don't have time to go to because we're working hard. But that difficulty is there, right? Dubai is comfortable, but it's not without difficulty. Am I correct? You should know better than me. But I also know, because apart from the fact that I visited here, but it's just an obvious, it should be obvious to everyone that everywhere in the material world is full of so many difficulties. I should tell you this. There's some gurus who speak in such a way that it's, fine. But actually, all of you who are preaching, and I'm also trying to preach Krishna consciousness, then my duty is to make you feel uncomfortable, not comfortable. Physically comfortable, yeah. To some extent, we're not going to make some super arrangement for you to sit comfortably, but some reasonable comfort, you can sit nicely. We don't have to put, that used to be famous, that Indian yogis sitting on a bed of nails. It was like some kind of standard joke. The Indian yogis sitting on the bed, and there used to be so many cartoons with jokes about the yogis. So we're not going to arrange that for you. But relatively comfortable. It's a quiet AC. Just listen, you can just hear it in the background. So that's good. If it was very noisy, that would interfere with what we have to say. But mental comfort in the human life is very dangerous, because if we think everything's okay, we're wrong. And we're very badly wrong, because everything is not okay. There are at least 4 compelling reasons why everything is not okay. They are Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadhi. And that's just 4 of them: birth, death, old age, and disease. And then there's so many others. Another way of looking at it is Adhyatmik Klesh, Adhibhotik Klesh, Adhidaivik Klesh, miseries from our own body and mind, miseries from other living beings, not only other humans, maybe dogs barking, keeping us awake at night, mosquitoes biting. See, that's another nice thing. No mosquitoes. Good. Then Adhidaivik Klesh, what we would call natural disturbances, because we go to school and we're taught that climatic changes are all due to various fluctuations in the air pressure, and this and that, and this and that. Modern education makes us atheistic. Actually, the weather, it's all controlled by different devatas, but we learn that a long, long time ago, there was a big bang, and then everything just fell into place. And then now there's the earth with the atmosphere around the earth with so much oxygen and nitrogen and hydrogen. It all interacts, and therefore sometimes we have hot weather and there's the sunlight, and it all works together, and the weather changes because it's all just like that. Science. It's just like that. But actually everything is controlled by the devas under the supervision of Krishna. So Adidaivic Klesh we will call natural disturbances. But actually it's not natural to be disturbed. But we take it as natural because we don't know. We don't know. Beyond this world where everything has a beginning and an end, there is the eternal world. We should go there, but we don't go there because we're like the worms crawling back into the stool. We don't know. We have a better existence. So we should tell others. I should tell you. You should tell others. This world is not a good place to live. We don't belong here. We belong with Krishna in the spiritual world. There is a spiritual world beyond this material world. But to go there, we have to give up the idea of trying to be comfortable in this world, physically, mentally. Again, we don't unnecessarily accept great discomfort, because great discomfort is not in and of itself the goal. But then the goal of life is not to spend all our energy trying to be comfortable. But our goal of life is to go to the lotus feet of Krishna in the spiritual world. This material advancement, the whole so-called civilization is based on the idea of material advancement. Material advancement means everyone works, you produce more things, and then you have more comfort and more facilities for enjoying yourself. This whole Dubai fancy world is all built on the idea that we'll make facilities where people from all over the world will come and enjoy themselves. And it's all new and clean, and everything's here for enjoyment. You've got camel racing, horse racing, and prostitutes. That you got everywhere. Why not Dubai? Different flavors. You can get anything. It's all here. And no one's happy. But comfortably miserable. Relatively comfortable. Relative comfort. But don't be attached to the idea of comfort. Don't be too much concerned with that comfort. Very dangerous thing to be comfortable. Even in spiritual life, if you think now, yeah, now it's nice. Now, yeah, I'm doing quite well. That's also dangerous. We should think always, oh, I should do more. Come up. Go ahead. All right, it's been a long, hard week. It's hard to stay awake during this talk. It's not very entertaining. It's not meant to be entertaining. All right, I'll finish now. Just one point. There's one point in that talk. There's so many points to make, but just that one point I wanted to make. Don't be overly concerned with being come to understand this world is not meant for comfort. We should be prepared to accept discomfort for the sake of spiritual realization. By the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can chant Hare Krishna and no major difficulties or disturbances. Just some small things. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Not very big things, but many people they're just so addicted. And then so many other things. Tomorrow I'm supposed to speak about reels, right? I just learned about reels. I used to know about fishing reels. You know what that is called? You know, they're on fishing rod, they're fishing reels. Down at the Abras, there's no fishing, and someone standing next to the sign is fishing. Fishing reels. What else is there? In movie reels. They don't have that anymore. They used to have the reel. Oh yeah, we used to have the cassette reels, right? No, it wasn't. Cassettes came later. What is it called? Tape. They big things, and then no, gramophone is different. Then the reel, and then it get caught up in the head, and it'll get messed up. Yeah, the cassette reels inside. Yeah. And now I learned because I'm a dinosaur. I don't know about all these things about reels. From what is it? 15 seconds to 60 seconds. Just complete nonsense. So that's the subject I'm supposed to speak on tomorrow, is it? But today the subject is, actually every day the subject is, don't try to be comfortable in this material world. Chant Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go to the spiritual world. That's it. Don't be in the illusion that life is good in this material world. Hare Krishna. Would I like to take a couple of questions? You're in suspense. Yes. Do you have one? You have three. All right. Ask one. Ask your question.
Thank you for wonderful enlightening class.
Yeah, that's the formality to say that. It's like you have to say it at the end of every class. Maybe with one of them.
Maharaj, as you said, we have to voluntarily accept austerity.
Yeah, I said, Rishabh says, Krishna says, even Buddha says, even Quran says.
But usually people ask that God is all merciful and He's well wisher. He will not be happy to see us doing austerity. So how to make them understand?
God is all merciful, so He won't be happy seeing us doing austerity. How to make them understand? That's an interesting question. God wants us to enjoy. Right? Well, that's the misunderstanding. Why is there suffering in this world? If God is all merciful, why is there suffering? If you take that too far, then you get the idea that God wants His devotees to enjoy. So then there are so many beautiful women we can enjoy. That philosophy, that idea was there. The Guru is the representative of God. Everything should be offered to the Guru. So when you marry, you can only accept prasad. So first of all, the wife has to go to the Guru. And then the Guru gives back the wife as prasad. That was actually going on in one sampradaya. You know which sampradaya I want to say? This, the very nature of this world is that the more we try to enjoy, the more we become entangled in the difficulties of this world. And therefore, God being very kind upon us gives us the means to become disentangled from that. God is very merciful. Therefore, he comes and tells us what is our real benefit, which is to be connected with him. As long as we're trying to enjoy separately from him, we will suffer, because the underlying suffering of this world is the disconnection from him. The very attempt to enjoy ourselves separately from him is in itself the cause of all suffering, because we cannot be happy with him. But that's too much. Already they stop listening to you. Right? There's too much philosophy for the average idiot. Basically, this question comes from insincerity, because anyone will, if they're actually interested in God, they'll understand that we have, if we're going to be connected with God, we can't just be a wanton enjoyer of this world. That's why I was just discussing with some devotees from Bangladesh, where the majority of the population is Muslim, and saying how our devotees of ISKCON, it's respected there in Bangladesh because we follow some rules. They understand we're serious about consciousness. Then what's the difference between a complete sense enjoyer and just, what's the difference between a theist and a non-theist? Then the best theist should be one who's a gross sense enjoyer, because God wants us to enjoy. Is it? No. Gross sense indulgence and advancement in God consciousness can never go together. But as I say, people, if they ask that, then generally means they're not very sincere in the first place. And there's nothing you can do if people are not sincere. Actually, there is. You can go on preaching the right thing, and then gradually it can get through. And then, of course, giving them prasadam. Here in this country, we can't do, but public festivals is very good for changing people gradually. Actually, philosophically, just if you take people, it's hard to convince them. Then again, you again and again and again and again say, it can get through. But at the same time, we shouldn't say things to reinforce their misconceptions. We have to preach. What can we say? We can't expect that everyone will accept what we're going to say, but still we have to go and say. Yeah, someone else question?
Hare Krishna, Swami. My question was,
Come to the front. There you go. That's the question. It's a bit strange asking from behind.
my question was, Maharaj, my question was, it's a practical question on how to balance academics with Bhakti.
I don't know. Balance. Academics means if you're going to be successful, you just have to, it's only, fully. And spiritual life, Mame Kam Sharanam Raja. My solution to that was Mamekam Sharanam Raja. I left the academic. But I'm not allowed to say that to you. You have to decide what you're doing with your life. Actually, if you want to be successful materially, it's very hard to have both things. Some people may have, that's also due to previous karma. But if you're going to be successful materially, really successful, what they call successful, you have to be nasty, mean, dishonest, cruel. Is it? If you want to be middle level successful, you can get by with not being too mean, nasty, cruel, deceitful, and all these kind of things. There is a word in English which summarizes it all, but I won't say it. If you want to be really successful, then you have to be not good at all. There are people who are very good and who are at the top. Who are they? Can you say, who are they? Hmm? Who? Elon Musk. You see, because I gave a talk on him, I don't want to say what. Anyway. Just put it this, I'm not a member of his fan club. What do you want in life? That you have to think, that you consider. What is your aim in life? Then you see how to take it from there. Actually, our aim of life is to be fully Krishna conscious. Everything should be subordinate to that. Then you think. And then they may say that, well, you have to have good academics, this, that. It may be. Life is short. Having a so-called good career is not the most important thing. Can be useful in some way. But really we have to see what is our goal in life. Should be Krishna consciousness. And then we can see everything else in balance with that. I really am not the best person to advise because actually I just want to put everyone on a farm and live simply and chant Hare Krishna. But I realize that's not possible for everyone. But that's what I'd like to see. In the city, then yeah, you can also preach, bring people, distribute books. There's a lot of work to do in the cities also. You can also consider that. Srila Prabhupada's Varnashram mission, unfulfilled mission, different way of life, that people don't have to live in these tension-filled cities. You can live with devotees all your life. You can consider. All right, any other question? Pass over the mic, please. Or you can speak loudly and I'll repeat.
Hare Krishna, just a quick question. As you mentioned, we shouldn't be too comfortable in our spiritual life. Sometimes I get the feeling when I'm chanting or when I'm speaking or with devotee, I feel
Good.
Or,
In your spiritual life, you're feeling happy. That's very good.
but how would we know some?
But now how not to be comfortable? Yeah, it's a comfortable, complacent. I don't know if there's a, how are you going to translate all these words? How do you say complacent in Hindi? It means a sense of satisfaction, but it's not a, No, it's Santosh. Santosh is in Bhagavad Gita. That's a good thing. But it's satisfaction, but it's not very good actually. It's in the sense of being satisfied or at a level of which one shouldn't be. And look it up. Everyone's now you can get out your phone. Suffering from deep separation. How is it translated? The compilers of the dictionary, I know what it means, but to exactly define it. No. From English to English, what do they say? Atma Santosh is not complacency. You can't translate it exactly. That means you probably don't know what the word complacency means. It means a sense of false satisfaction. Self-affirming, is that what it said? Self-approving, yeah. There must be some good. Not
Uncritical satisfaction with oneself.
Showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself. Or one's achievements. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, to think now everything's okay and I don't really need to do anything more. That's interesting. I'm using all these words like complacency, and you look it up and it says Atma Santosh. It's really something different. It's really something quite different. Complacency is not a good quality. Atma Santosh, that is good. Yadricha Atma Santosh. That's good. Then we have to Bhakti Thakur, he recommends daily introspection. What's introspection? Atma Nirikshan, maybe, something like that. Yeah, looking at oneself, trying to look at oneself objectively, and looking inside, what's there?
Atma
Manthan, turning oneself.
Atma Nirikshan.
It's interesting that you need Sanskrit words to translate it. So happiness in Krishna consciousness should be actually it goes between two things. Just like we'll find Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs, we'll find in some places he says that what is that? There's so many songs. Now my brain is dead. That Vishai Durjana Shada Kamarata Nahi Kichu Nahi Moraguna. That I'm a materialist, a rascal. Vishai Durjana Shada Kam. I'm always attached to material desire, and I don't have any good qualities. Then again, he says that there's so many others that Krishna Bhakti Vinod Krishna Bhajane Anukupai Jaha Pratidi Vashe Parama Shuke Shika Kareta. Bhakti Vinod says all the favorable things in Krishna consciousness, I daily accept them in my life, and I'm very happy with that. Amenivedam to apade kare Vainu Paramasuki. Surrendering at your lotus feet, I become Paramasuki. So both things are there. We're happy, and at the same time, we want to go forward more. If we think now everything's all right, everything's not all right. Same time, we also shouldn't think that, well, I'm so bad that I really can't go anywhere, because that's also like a denial of Krishna's mercy. Another thing is, even if we're not doing very well, we should consider, I'm not doing very well. We should also think that, well, anyway, somehow or other I'm chanting Hare Krishna. I'm very fortunate. I should try to do something to help others come up also. There are many such topics, but I'm going to finish now. You have a question also. Why don't we have a question and answer session tomorrow? Because there's so many questions. And it is rather late. Maybe not for all of you, but for me it seems rather late, especially as I came from India and like that. 1.5 hours. Do like to get up in the morning. Does help to take rest on time. So tomorrow we have a program also. Shall we make it like this? Kuch touch.
There's already a topic that's been given.
What's the topic?
Accidents on the
royal roads. Yeah, I know there are many good things to speak about.
And possibly these questions we can have after that, good morning.
Well, it'd be the same thing, won't it? Then after a talk, it's already late. Anyway, you decide, let me know. These are questions which are obviously on people's minds.
We have a little leeway. It's already 10 Guru Maharaj today, and we also feel it. But in the afternoon programs, we have a little more time that we can.
Afternoon program? Oh, there are 2 programs tomorrow, right?
So Maharaj, you have one. Yes, so Guru Maharaj, your morning session is at 12 and the evening session is at 6.
Okay, so if you all want to come along up to the youth program, then we can do that if you like.
Right. So anybody really has questions, this Maharaja's invitation to you. Catch up at the youth class, and immediately after the youth class, you can have your Q&A zone. Very quickly. His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami Maharaja ki jai. Samahita Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. कल प्रोग्राम में
Hare Krishna devotees, thank you very much for joining. We apologize for the low audio quality. We'll work on it, and we'll make sure that next programs it won't happen. Okay, once again, thank you for joining. His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. With all your permission, we end the session here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.